So, a beautiful weekend of football in the NFL, 6 NFL games in 2 days. More football than I've ever had to sit down and actually watch consecutively. 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on this past Sunday. I want to start out with the first game on Sunday. Coming into the Ravens-Titans game, I was more confident about this game than any of the other games of the weekend, and I expected Lamar Jackson to play loose. Expecting them to play focused. They were a little bit lethargic coming out. Lamar Jackson with the ugly pick in the first quarter, but they came through. Lamar Jackson had a beautiful about 50-yard run. I want to say in the second quarter, they the defense shut down Derrick Henry, and the Ravens came out with Lamar Jackson's first playoff win. But I don't want to talk about any of that. I don't want to talk about the narrative of Lamar Jackson's playoff performance. I want to talk about Lamar Jackson as a figure, and I just want to appreciate what he is and what he's doing. I don't think it's running under the radar for those that are paying attention, but there's a lot at stake here with the success of Lamar Jackson. What is at stake? What is at stake with Lamar Jackson's success? A better question to me is, what does Lamar Jackson winning a Super Bowl this year or in the next couple of years, what if Lamar Jackson plays the way that he plays and wins a Super Bowl that way, the Ravens win a Super Bowl that way? Do you understand what that does for football as a whole if that happens? You understand what that means for kids all around America, just like Lamar Jackson, that want to play the quarterback position, and whether somebody tells them or whether they think they make that decision on their own, they go to a different position because that's more suits their skill set, or that more suits the stereotypes of whatever the case may be, whatever the position is. Moving from playing quarterback, I know a lot of athletic people, receivers, DBs, played quarterback earlier, but as they got older, middle school, high school, college, changed positions. Now, not saying that and I'm not insinuating anything from that. I'm just saying, what does Lamar Jackson winning a Super Bowl, what does that do for those particular instances? I'm old enough to remember when Lamar Jackson came out of Louisville and people wanted him to play receiver and work out as a receiver, pro days or combines. I think if the Ravens were to win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson running just as well, if not a lot better than he passes the ball this way, that he has won an MVP, because there have already been people like Lamar Jackson that have had success in the NFL. If you want to talk about most comparatively Michael Vick, or if you want to talk about somebody to a lesser degree, Cam Newton, that specific style of dynamic running being just as huge a factor than passing for a quarterback. There have been people that have won MVPs, won Heisman trophies, had amazing success, but Super Bowl has been a little bit different. There have been people that win national championships. Tony Rice with Notre Dame in the late 80s. Of course, Vince Young in that beautiful game in 06. Cam Newton, I think Michael Vick got to a national championship. But as far as a running quarterback, winning a Super Bowl, I wouldn't necessarily group Russell Wilson into that category. I think the three best ones per se, even if you want to put in Fran Tarkenton in that category, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, and Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson seems to me to have the best chance this year to win a Super Bowl, and I think that does a lot for what it means to be a quarterback, what it means to be a franchise quarterback, what it means to be a championship caliber quarterback, what that means for teams that are looking out and what they look for in a quarterback. I know the quarterback position is getting to be a little bit more mobile, especially in the last 10, 15 years. A lot less stationary targets, a lot less statues in the pocket. You have to have legs. You have to be able to get out of the pocket. You have to be able to make plays with your legs. But still, there is something about players like Lamar Jackson that scare teams, rightly so. But I think this opportunity that Lamar Jackson has is much bigger than just him becoming the first person to my knowledge to win a Heisman and MVP and a Super Bowl and presumably a Super Bowl MVP. But I think it legitimizes the running quarterback, not only in high school and college, because I think that was already legitimized in that level of the game, but in the NFL to have a player like Lamar Jackson playing the way that he does and winning a Super Bowl in this era of talented quarterbacks that are a little bit more traditional than he is, I think it's a great opportunity, and I for one am very, very excited to see it whenever it does happen. I think it very well could happen. I want to stay on Sunday and talk about the Sunday night game, Cleveland-Pittsburgh. Cleveland just blew the doors off of Pittsburgh from the first play. I watched it. I watched the whole first quarter. I can't say I watched the whole game, but Pouncey Super Bowl 48's it over Peyton Manning's not Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger's head, and it's downhill from there. It was dominating fashion. Nobody expected it, but it's one of those games where nobody really expected that outcome. But in hindsight, it makes sense. It makes sense. Pittsburgh Steelers did not look good the last month and a half of the season, and it showed in the playoffs. In that playoff game, I thought that their experience would trump whatever advantages Cleveland had as far as execution. I thought experience from the quarterback, experience from the coach, experience from the organization as a whole. Cleveland had not made the playoffs in so many years, and I thought that alone would trump whatever Cleveland had, especially without their coach. And they proved me and a lot of people wrong. I want to talk specifically right now about Big Ben Roethlisberger. A lot has been made about that quarterback class in 2004, I believe, him, Eli Manning, and Phillip Rivers. Ben should probably retire soon, as should Phillip Rivers. Eli Manning is already retired. I don't see them winning another Super Bowl. I don't see the Pittsburgh Steelers winning another Super Bowl with him as the quarterback. Not to say that he is like trash or as bad as Peyton Manning was in his last year or as Eli Manning was down the stretch. But as far as elevating a team, like I think he was able to a couple of times in his career, earlier in his career, I don't think he's able to do that anymore. So the other two quarterbacks, a lot has been made about if they're Hall of Fame or not. Eli Manning, of course, everybody knows the story, two-time Super Bowl champion, two-time Super Bowl MVP. Phillip Rivers never made a Super Bowl, but made numerous playoff appearances with the Chargers, and just lost another playoff game with the Colts. And but a lot of people, I think the consensus is neither Eli or Phillip are definitely not first ballot, and a lot of people don't think they're Hall of Fame at all. But the consensus has also been that Ben is, even if he's not first ballot, definitely a Hall of Famer. My question is why? Not exactly make the case for Ben, but make the case for him and not these other two guys. I mean, if it's the Super Bowls, Eli also has two, and I would argue that he played better in both of them. I don't think anybody would argue against that. He played better in both of them, beat better teams, two Patriot teams, two great Patriots teams. The last time Big Ben won a Super Bowl, I think it was a little bit after Barack Obama's first inauguration. We're about to get to Joe Biden's first inauguration, and so and he didn't play amazing in either of those wins. Obviously, the play to Santonio Holmes back in the end zone in Super Bowl 43. Santonio Holmes also won the MVP of that game. Well, it's the stats. It's the stats. He's just so much better in stats. Well, Phil, he's actually sandwiched in between for passing yards and passing touchdowns. Sandwiched right in between Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. Eli Manning has a little bit less than him in both, and Phillip Rivers has a little bit more than him in both. I'm not saying that Ben is not a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that he isn't great. He is. But I think that he has benefited greatly from the Steelers organization. I think he's benefited greatly from 2 Hall of Fame coaches that he has had and been to Super Bowls with, Mike Tomlin and Bill Cowher. I'm sorry. I'm saying the conversation has to be a little bit more nuanced than that. I'm not saying that I'm not making the case for Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning. I'm just saying that their conversation has to be a little bit more nuanced when we're talking about these 3 quarterbacks. Over the past, 18 years since that draft, who has had better weapons over the past 18 years? It's been. Who has had better coaching? It's been. Who has had the more organizational support? It's definitely been. I'm just so happy for the Browns. I'm happy for their fans. These fans have been through a lot, and I can't imagine being a Browns fan. I honestly can't. I can't imagine being a Browns fan or like a Sacramento Kings fan or like a New York Knicks fan or a Detroit Lions fan or anything like that. They've been putrid for so long, and to have the game that they had on Sunday night, I think nobody deserves it more than the Browns fans. Cleveland does. Congratulations to y'all. Unlike Browns fans, I have seen my favorite team in the Super Bowl. It was the best and worst day of my life. I reminisce on it with my family quite often. It's about to be 5 years since then, actually, Super Bowl 50. I watch the game maybe once a year in its entirety, and I'm watching the game every time, and I'm like, man, I see exactly how we lost, but I'm like, man, how did we lose this game? I'm sure if I'm a fan watching, I'm sure players on the team do it that have won the Super Bowl as well. Basically, the Broncos defense dominated the Panthers run game early, scored on defense in the first half, and because their pass rush was so potent, it hindered the Panthers from coming back, passing the ball, and their receivers couldn't get open. Pass rush sacked Cam Newton a lot of times. And even though Peyton Manning played like a jar of peanut butter on the other side, they were able to score. They were able to make those turnovers touchdowns whenever it mattered, even though they had so many 3-and-outs and the quarterback, the offense didn't play particularly well at all. And the Broncos won. That is exactly what happened to the Seahawks on Saturday afternoon. Actually, that is exactly what happened to the Seahawks against the Rams. The exact same thing. It was crazy to watch. I made that connection right when I was watching the game. Russell Wilson is as great as it gets in the NFL for me. If you ask me, I think pound for pound, he's the best player in the NFL over Aaron Donald, over Patrick Mahomes. And he couldn't overcome the defensive line. He couldn't overcome Jalen Ramsey in the secondary. He couldn't overcome a superior team in the Rams through and through. Sean McVay did a better job coaching the team over the course of the season and over the course of this game. And I personally thought it was the Seahawks game to lose once Jared Goff left, once John Wolford left and Jared Goff came in with his injured thumb. He was doing absolutely nothing on the offensive side, not able to complete the ball down the field. I thought, the Rams are not going to score, and the Seahawks are going to score at least once more. And I think it was just like a 3 or 6 point game at that point. And but like Super Bowl 50, the Rams offense, they capitalized on the Seahawks 3-and-outs, their mistakes offensively. Russell Wilson was running for his life the whole time, and the Rams eliminated the Seahawks just like that. So then I was thinking, as soon as the game ended, I thought, and I love Russell Wilson. I thought, when do we start talking about the Seahawks since 2014? The Super Bowl 49, Malcolm Butler, all that. I got them down here. 2015, the year after that, Blair Walsh shanks a field goal in Minnesota. They go to Carolina and lose. The next year, that 2015 team, widely the same team, Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Marshawn Lynch, everybody. 2016, I think beat Detroit at home and then lose to Atlanta the next week. They go to the Super Bowl. Okay, that's 2 years losing to the eventual NFC champions. 2017, lose to Dak and the Cowboys in the first round. I think you missed the playoffs in 2018, you go 9-7 or something. And then 2019, last year, you beat Josh McCown in Philadelphia and then lose to Green Bay. What is the answer to what has happened since 2014? To me, Russell Wilson he runs the risk of running into that Ben Roethlisberger problem, where you are no longer able to uplift your team over superior teams throughout, because the Rams, though their quarterback was completely nowhere near Russell Wilson's level, they were the better team throughout. And you can make the same argument for Pittsburgh and Cleveland. And to me, he runs the risk of fading into that category, and I do not want that. I don't think Russell Wilson deserves that, because I think he is truly great. But you have to be able to beat better teams. You're not fortunate the way that you were in your first couple of years, where the team was stacked and you were always the superior team. And I think that falls on him. I think that falls on Pete Carroll. And I don't expect that to continue. I don't expect him to never win a Super Bowl again or go to a Super Bowl again, because I think he's just that great. I think him and Pete Carroll have something that is special, even though it's not as special as it used to be earlier in the decade. But I think they have to become that Brady Belichick duo, where if they don't have the better team, they always have the better coach and quarterback. And that was always the case with Brady and Belichick, even if the Patriots weren't playing a better team than them. Especially earlier in the year, they're always there. They're always making the playoffs. It seems they're always winning a crazy good NFC West. But that NFC West, I mean, keep playing like you're playing, and you could easily become the third, fourth best team. Let Kyle Shanahan get Deshaun Watson. Let Sean McVay get a better quarterback than get Jared Goff. Kyler Murray is already on the scene, and I think that you run the risk of doing that and becoming a footnote in that division and in the conference. This weekend is going to be very interesting, especially considering last week's games, a couple of upsets, and we have 4 very interesting divisional games this weekend, starting with the Rams going to Green Bay. I would be surprised if the Packers turn the ball over the way that Seattle did. That was really the difference in that Rams-Seattle game. If Goff plays, I don't expect McVay to try to make it a Rodgers versus Goff game. I don't know if he would win that if Goff was healthy. I'm going to lean toward the Packers. I'm going to give a lot of respect to the Rams defense, because that Rams defense is the best in football this year, and they really showed me something last week. I'm going to go Packers by 7, 17-24. The next game, Saturday night, is my favorite matchup of the weekend. Ravens at Bills, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, 2 squads with QBs that are the true focal points of their offense, and I think that's the most entertaining it can get. 2 really dynamic athletes. Josh Allen is a really dynamic athlete. He's big. He can run. He can throw the ball all over the field. And Lamar Jackson, we already know what that is about. It's going to be amazing. I lean toward the Ravens simply for the fact that the same reason that I leaned toward them last week. Lamar is playing so loose. He's playing so happily and focused. I think I honestly cannot just write off Josh Allen in this offense. He seems to be the real deal throwing the football. Like, he seems to be like somebody that's really worked on it over the offseason. And him and Stephon Diggs have a synergy that is electric right now. I'm going to take Baltimore simply because I think their defense will play better against Josh Allen than the Bills' defense will play against Lamar Jackson. I think they're going to be opportunistic. I don't think they're going to keep him to 10 points or anything, but I think they're going to make plays when they need it. I think they're going to cause maybe a turnover or 2. The Colts were able to do it last week, and I think that the Bills won't be able to stop that running attack. I mean, just like the Chiefs come in, like they're going to throw a couple of touchdowns, they're going to throw for 300 yards. The Ravens are going to run for 200 yards. And once that happens, I think it's going to be hard to stop. So I'm going to go with the Ravens in a great game, probably the game of the weekend, 31-28 on the road. I don't think the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think they're going to win it. I think they lose in this game against Cleveland. I think they do. Cleveland's not the better team than Kansas City. But I really envision their running game being the difference here. Kansas City, I won't say struggled the way that Pittsburgh did. They definitely didn't. But they did not look the same way they did in the first half of the season that did in the second half. It's going to be maybe like 3 or 4 weeks since Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how helpful that week off and then the other week off is going to be in playing a team that's playing with its hair on fire like Cleveland is. I think we want to give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt the way we do the Patriots in the AFC, when really I think they're a lot more like the Packers 10 years ago. Remember, they won the Super Bowl in 2010. The next year, Aaron Rodgers comes back, the team comes back, they go 15-1. Aaron Rodgers looks like the best quarterback to ever play football. They have weapons everywhere you look. Greg Jennings, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb. They run through the regular season and they get their butts beaten by the New York Giants in that first playoff game at Green Bay. A true upset. They really got smacked in that game, and I don't think that that the Chiefs are going to have that similar of an outcome here, but I think the Cleveland Browns are going to surprise people for the second straight week. Cleveland will set the tone early with the running game, set the pace, and continue to do the impossible. It's 24-21. Another team that is definitely not winning Super Bowl is the New Orleans Saints. They're not winning. They're not winning the Super Bowl. I don't really have any reasoning for this. I don't think the universe wants them to win the Super Bowl. They've had a potent offense, a great team for the past 3 or 4 years, and something cosmic always happens that they don't win the Super Bowl. These teams feel equally matched. 2 great quarterbacks, 2 great offenses, really, really grimy defenses. New Orleans, one of the best defenses in the league. Tampa Bay, led by Todd Bowles. And this will really be the 3rd iteration of the Bucs that the Saints have played. They mollywopped both of the iterations before this, once at the beginning of the season, once in the middle, and now here in the playoffs. No, they haven't beaten a good team since the middle of the season, but I think this game, not the 11-5 regular season, not the Patriots going 7-9, having a tough season. I think this game will really show whether Brady needs Belichick or not. This is a game where he will have the lesser team, the lesser quarterback, the lesser organization for a long time, And I don't know how Bruce Arians is going to look over and see Sean Payton, how he's going to out-coach him. I really want to see the GOAT be the GOAT here. I think it's going to happen. I think we're going to have one of the all-time great QB battles before one of them inevitably retires this offseason. I'm going to go with the Bucs by 35-31 in one of the best games that I hope it's one of the best games Brady breeds that we've ever seen. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know y'all predictions. Let me know how y'all felt about the wild card round. Hit me up on here in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, on my blog, anything. Let me know something, and I'll see y'all on the next one.